Hello.
Hello, people. It's Greg. How are you?
Hello, Greg. We're doing great. We're doing great. Greg, we're having Krishnapriya joining us today.
Great, wonderful.
I hope you remember her.
Of course I do.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So we are waiting for John there, right? And
Yeah,
Javed
let
is
me
here.
text him to make sure that he's joining. Like in any developer, he gets lost in what he's doing at times.
And also, Greg, today as we are discussing on the AT app as well as the yoga application, if it's okay with you, can I record this call? So
That's.
please give me the permission.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Am I not audible? As we're having a discussion today regarding the AT app as well as the yoga application.
Yes.
So there will be some technical points that I may have to convey to the development team. So can you give me the permission to record this call?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I know I'm recording it on my side. I put up, by the way, I put up all our discussions in our channel on YouTube. So if you want to go back and check out any of the discussions we have, within a day I put them up on YouTube. So just go look for the UBsports channel and you'll find them there.
Okay, great.
I think we have.
You should be able to record. I don't see anything. Oh wait, it's under participants, I think. Who is it? Javed or Jibin who wants to record?
It's
Jibin will record.
Okay, hold on. Okay, well you're good there. You should be able to record now.
Scan. Asking for the permission. I guess there's some problem from my end. So what I'll do is you can share the YouTube link for this recording so that I can grab the the information from there.
I'll make sure I put it up immediately so it'll be there.
Yeah, great.
Perfect.
So
even that works. So I
yes.
think we have John here. John, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
Hello. It's been a long while since.
Good. Thank you.
John, can you hear?
Yep, I can hear. Everything's good.
This.
Okay. Is it my fault that I'm not able to there's some lag from Javed's end?
Yeah, John, can you say something so we can hear you?
Hello.
John, yes, we can hear you now.
Yep, you're good.
John, I was saying it's been a long time since we have spoken. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Trying to weather
Great,
the
John.
snow.
I know we were talking. I and Greg were talking about the snow and the winter and everything there. I hope you are doing safe.
Yep, staying safe. We're doing good.
Please do, John. In fact, I get your news and everything from my development team. I keep talking to them on a daily basis, and I keep taking the updates from them. So I know what's happening, and I keep listening about both of you. So I know what's going around. So anyway, very glad to talk to you after some long time, John.
Yeah, definitely good to hear from.
Though in fact, I spoke to Greg a couple of days back. So I and Greg are again in touch. As John, you're a completely a technical person. We don't really get to talk to you. Only my technical folks get to talk to you.
Well, that's what the rumor is, right? That I'm the technical guy.
Yes, exactly. That is what the rumor is. because I and Greg goes on the business calls and we talk about random stuffs, but we don't get you there.
John, first of
Hello.
all, we were wondering if you could have a conversation with the guys tomorrow at 9:30 to talk about moving the site off of the Albany servers up to AWS with the credentials and that kind of stuff. Can we have that call tomorrow at 9:30?
Sure.
So we'll do another Zoom call then and we can have it all there.
Okay.
Okay. So, John and Craig, today's discussion that we have started, like why Krishnapriya is here, is because talking about the athletic training app and the flow chart that we got, the workflow that we got on the last Monday. Our team was going through it, and we just find some points that are needed to be added, and there are some changes in the estimation as well as the features that were listed before. And Krishnapriya is here because she has some doubt, and a new SRS is to be made for the athletic training app as well as the yoga app that will be submitted to you by Monday, if we can clear the discussion today itself.
Yeah, I want to make clear that when we wrote up that process for the trainers, it does identify features that are actually changes or stuff that we haven't discussed that have to be applied to the website and the mobile app. But we're not looking to have those things implemented in this release. It was just identified that in order to kind of sign off on the specs for the two trainer apps, that there should be a corresponding third document which identifies the specs and or changes that we would have to apply to the website and the mobile app. So we're not looking to change the scope of what's being developed right now. It was simply an identification that there are corresponding changes. We won't be able to sign off just on the two trainer app SRSs without the third document.
Yeah, that pretty much clears most of the doubts that I have here, because if we accommodate these changes, that can push the timeline. So one question that I do have in mind is regarding the fitness trainer app, which we have renamed the yoga app to the fitness trainer app, right? So regarding the athletic trainer app, we do have a documentation which explains a PowerPoint documentation which explains what exactly it does. So can we have one more, a process flow or a document for the fitness trainer application as well, so that we can relate to, so that we can, make sure that we are accommodated, so that we can make sure that the process flow is complete.
I'm not sure I understand what else you're asking for.
So there are two applications that is yet to be, yet to be started, which are the athletic trainer app and fitness trainer app, and those are for the trainer. Those are for the two different type of trainers, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so for the athletic trainer, we do have a documentation which we have received, which pretty much explains what it does, the functionalities and all included in the athletic trainer app. So similarly, for the fitness trainer app, if we can have a comparison done, if there is any feature that should be highlighted, or to identify the existing features, so if we make the process flow accurate for the fitness trainer as well, it would be great.
Yeah, I mean, are you referring to the document that I provided on Monday?
Yeah, I did refer to the document. It is regarding the trainers, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the
that,
verification
that,
procedure.
yeah, that in general, I mean, that application process um, is, it's similar or really identical based on for both the fitness trainers as well as the athletic trainers. So it applies to both of those apps. There are one or two minor discrepancies or differences between an athletic trainer and a fitness trainer, but those are specifically identified in that doc where there's a difference. So I'm not sure that we necessarily, I mean, if I was to write up a second document similar to that, that's more specific, it would almost be an identical word for word
Oh,
document.
okay.
Okay. John, do you want to go through maybe how they're different and how the trainers will be using the apps differently?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I have to kind of review through it. Hold on one second. I think the one difference is that they'll be identified differently in their profile. A member in their regular profile will identify themselves as a fitness trainer or as an athletic trainer.
Yes.
There might be some additional terminology that Greg will throw at us as far as whether fitness trainer is broken down into 2 or 3 different subtypes or something like that. The verification of an athletic trainer will be manually referenced against a national database. And you can see that in the section on page 1 under ATFT verification. A verified athletic trainer must have a valid or could have a valid NATA registration number, which a fitness trainer would not have.
Yes.
Just so you guys are aware, the primary difference between these two types of trainers is an athletic trainer is a much more formalized professional occupation, whereas a fitness trainer could be just someone who trains his friends or clients. They don't necessarily have to be registered with a national organization. So that's one difference. As I look through,
I think the other part is who their clients will be. The athletic trainer will have clients who usually come from a school. There'll be teams full of football players and basketball players and tennis players, whereas the fitness trainer is going to have extracurricular clients. Usually, they're going to be people who are yoga participants or meditation participants. They're not really people who are training for competitive activity. Also, back to John's point, the athletic trainers are medically trained. They're trained to help people when they break a leg recover. And that's not really the job of the fitness trainer. So that's why they're not quite as strictly overseen by an athletic training association.
So, so in going back to the doc, I don't see any other specific differences. Like, yeah, I mean, the process to apply, and I guess let's clarify that I titled the document Trainer Application Process. And what that means is the word application is not being used in the sense of a software application. It's that the trainer is applying to be verified. Okay, so that's how the term application is being used in in that doc. I'm not sure if that caused any confusion or not. But the only difference is that the athletic trainer has this, or potentially has this unique registration number, which a fitness trainer would not have. And then because the verification process is done manually by a human, as far as confirming that the information they provided is correct, that they are actually a trainer, that occurs outside of the realm of the application, and whoever the administrator is that's doing the verification goes back to the dashboard and will then, you know, check a box or click a button that says they've been verified and approved, or they've denied.
Okay, so there will be some sorts of background verification there, right?
Yes, correct. I think Greg is pursuing one or two outside organizations that may potentially allow us to verify a trainer's information, you know, either their NATA number or their state license via some sort of API or something, but that at this point in time is unknown if that exists and is outside the scope of what we're asking for here.
Yeah, the NATA will reply to emails asking for if John Smith is a registered member, and we'll give NATA the registration number that our member gives us, and they'll come back and say yes or no whether or not they're currently registered. And then we'll update the site through our dashboard and allow the trainer to use all the facilities and tools in the AT app. And there's going to be subscription payment also for both these kind of athletic trainer and fitness trainers. And not much, but it will be a monthly fee that we'll be charging. So that's another part that's different from other UBsports people.
And the athletic trainers and fitness trainers, they both will be charged separately, right? The subscription plans might differ, right?
Correct.
Yep.
If I subscribe to the Fit Trainer app, that does not give me access to the athletic trainer app, and vice versa. They are separate and distinct apps and subscriptions.
I do have a question here. It might be weird, but I'm asking it. What if an individual wants to register to the system, being an athletic trainer and a fitness trainer at the same time?
That's fine. There should be no conflict with that. Their profile should be able to identify them, and I'm kind of unclear on what the final list of roles were that a profile can use for themselves, because I know Greg has tweaked it a little since the last time I looked at that stuff. But a member should be able to say, I am a fitness trainer and I am an athletic trainer.
Sure.
We personally feel that that's an unlikely scenario, but it should be totally possible to self-identify as both types and carry two subscriptions, one subscription for each of the apps. So that is a totally conceivable possibility. The system should allow for that.
Okay, noted that.
I mean, so somewhere in the member's profile, you know, there's going to have to be a flag that says this person is a verified athletic trainer, and a separate flag that says they are a verified fitness trainer.
Fitness trainer, that's right. Got it. Okay, and will there be any change in the subscription plan based on that, if they're subscribing to both? Should we display that over the website?
this is challenging, and I haven't really thought through this, but
Uh-huh.
the system is, in order for those apps to allow them to log in, those apps will have to know that the subscription is valid, that there is a valid subscription at that time. I think that's relatively easy to do from the mobile apps themselves. I think it becomes a little more challenging from the website to verify that subscription. I'm not sure, and I guess we'll have to kind of figure out, how do we maintain
that scenario, right?
how do we determine if there's a valid subscription from the website? So if someone is a verified trainer, we want to be able to show them some of the functionality. The website trainer functionality is going to be a subset of the functionality that's in the apps. It's not going to be a full-blown version of it, but that would only be accessible to someone who has a valid subscription and is verified. So I know that you can't just randomly look up in an Apple API or a Google API to say, do you have a valid subscription to some app from the website? And I know from my past experience, it's challenging to maintain subscription information separately, like if we want to put it in our database. So I'm not 100% sure how we'll do that. It may impact our ability to put trainer functionality actually in the website. It's, I do have experience with subscription models like that and maintaining that kind of subscription information from Apple. And we've always found that there are inconsistencies, there are problems with the data feeds, etc. So I'm not sure how we're going to address that yet, but as we look at this third corresponding SRS or trainer changes to the website, we'll have to address that in a more detailed fashion and figure out what exactly we can do.
That's right. And for those functionalities that should be, there is a difference in between what is displayed over the web app and the functionalities that are accessible for the athletic trainers and fitness trainers over the web application and the dedicated applications for athletic trainer and fitness trainer. Because they will get to access these these functionalities in the dedicated applications only if they are subscribed, right? So could you help us with those functionalities that should be restricted in the initial that should be restricted, or that those functionalities that should be kept premium, say?
Yeah, I'm not sure what your question was regarding that. I mean, you have your understanding is correct that there are, the functionality that is provided to the trainers in the apps. Some of those functions, not all of them, but some of them, we would like to make available in the website. And for those functions that we do make available in the website, they would have to be restricted only to those trainers who are verified and have a subscription.
Okay, fine. Got it. Okay. And even if they are verified, will they get access to all the functionalities as they get in the dedicated application?
No, if they're verified, that's just one step. That means that we have taken the steps necessary to say that this person is eligible to subscribe to that functionality.
Oh, okay.
I can certainly see that there may be a very small set of functions for trainers
Mhm.
that we
Mhm.
may want to expose within the website
Mhm.
to a verified trainer
Mhm.
in order to tease them into
Uh-huh.
subscribing.
Got it.
Okay, we might take, 2 or 3 top level functions that a trainer might use that are common, that don't
Uh-huh.
have a large impact on
Uh-huh.
the rest of our business model, and put them out there. Once someone becomes verified as a trainer,
Uh-huh.
they might see a couple of functions that they could use and experiment with it. And we would use
Mhm.
that really to pull them in and say, look, if you subscribe, you can get even
Uh-huh.
more. So
Okay.
we haven't
Mhm.
discussed how exactly we're going to do that, but I can see that that's a totally conceivable requirement that our marketing team will come up with.
One of the things that I'm
Oh,
thinking of
okay.
is that there will be, for example, in the athletic trainer app, there's going to
Mhm.
be a directory of videos for
Mhm.
some of the stuff that they are going to have to do. For example, taping an ankle or an elbow or a knee.
Mhm.
We could have like just 3 of those up there
Mhm.
so the trainers can see what we can offer them. And then we could have a whole directory. We could say, here are 3 videos. There are 120 behind them for all the different ailments that you could have. The same thing for the fitness trainer. If they're a yoga trainer, we could have a couple of yoga videos up there and then say that you can have your own yoga training video put up here and charge to have people look at that. So that's another thing that, we could definitely tease them using
Uh-huh.
the video library that we're going to have.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it's conceivable that if we have a few functions that we use as teasers, which are
Mhm.
free and don't require the subscription,
Mhm.
I'm not I'm not sure that we have to necessarily have a technical implementation to restrict those. To
Mhm.
Greg's point, we may just choose to place 3 videos, for example, up there. And if you're a verified trainer, you just get these 3 videos or
Mhm.
something. We may
Yes.
not have to put a technical implementation that says, okay, retrieve 3 from our paid set of videos and rotate them or anything.
Mhm.
It might just be kind of static content for those trainers that we use as a teasing
Mhm.
marketing element.
Yeah, and then a list of the tools that they would have when they sign up.
Okay. So I guess it would be great if we implement these changes in the upcoming, as a step-by-step process. If we introduce all these instead of giving all at once, we can have a trial and error method. Right? We can give one or two, and then proceed with in the next step. We can give 2 more. Similarly, that would be a better procedure, I guess.
One of the
Yeah.
most important changes I think we've made, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the most important changes that we've made to the specs really are who is going to be using the
Uh-huh.
AT app and the fitness trainer app. Originally,
Mhm.
I've envisioned the clients of the trainers using the app. But what we actually did is that we said,
Uh-huh.
instead of that, let's make the
Uh-huh.
clients of the trainers, the teams and the athletes and the people who are going to be actually doing the yoga and meditation, have them access the scheduling and the other tools that they'd have at their disposal because they're clients of the trainers. They're going to get that through the UBsports app itself, as opposed to
Uh-huh.
having the
Yes.
AT app or the fitness app have those tools in them. So that's, I think, the biggest
Mhm.
change that we've made over the past month or so
Right.
as we've been envisioning what we're doing. Is that correct,
Yeah,
John?
and that yes, and that eases a few things in that It simplifies access to the trainer apps because a client or a regular member certainly doesn't need a subscription to use it. So it makes it so that the apps just absolutely require a subscription to get into it. It also simplifies the user experience for the client members because they won't have to go into a separate app. They can just go to the website or the mobile app for UBsports, and they're going to see their invitations and their appointments and their schedules and their bills and other information from their trainer. So it simplifies that user experience as well. It reduces the amount of functionality within the trainer apps. So those are the major impacts of these changes. We think it makes it a little bit easier for everyone around. The only challenge, as I mentioned earlier, is determining how do we incorporate the actual trainer functionality into the website that requires a subscription. And I'm aware that we may not even want to do that on the first release of this. You know, we may just require that all that functionality is done through the trainer apps. You know, my past experience with the subscription model application was that we would download subscription data from Apple on a regular basis, and we would update our database to identify active or canceled new subscriptions, canceled subscriptions, subscriptions that expired, et cetera. And we would use that information, but it was inherently inaccurate. There were problems in that process, and I'm not sure if those problems were 100% from the programmatic side in the programs that pulled the data from Apple and transposed it into the local database, or if it was problems in the way Apple provided the data. You know, there were times when the data for subscriptions was inconsistent depending on how somebody actually subscribed. So that I recognize that there are challenges there, and that may be more of a third or fourth phase type effort. So we are not convinced that this is something that we can do or want to do with the initial release of the trainer apps.
Okay. Okay, so do you want this change to be pushed to a next stage, or do you want the athletic trainer app to be dedicated to the athletic trainer itself without including any normal user? Do you want this in this process as we designed earlier, or do you want it to be do you want it to be accommodated in this stage itself?
That it should be accommodated now. There's no sense to spec out the fact that a regular user is going to use it and only to tear that out later. I mean, you guys will be writing.
Yes.
You guys will be writing, you know, code that is going to be worthless. So,
That's right. Because in our initial plan was like that, right? Our initial plan was to, you know, include include the users as well as in the trainer applications, the general users as well, right?
Yeah. So let's cut it out now before we finalize everything.
Exactly.
You know,
I do understand that.
You know, we recognize that kind of, you know, if we were looking to finalize the SRS tomorrow, let's say, we recognize that it's going to take a few more days. This is going to push it out a little bit, but you know,
yes,
there's no reason that we need your development team to program stuff that's only going to go away later. It just doesn't make sense to do.
Yes, yes. I think this is a change that should be implemented in this space itself, so that it can be beneficial in terms of business as well as in terms of scalability of the product.
Right.
So that, and also it helps us build the usership of UBsports itself, and that's, you know, the most important thing for us is to build that population on UBsports. So that's also.
Yes. But this would bring certain changes in the in the initial application, that is the UBsports website and application. There would be some changes in the you know, the initial registration and verification process. There will be some changes in the admin dashboard. Let's put that up into a document and see what we can take up, what is good to be taken up, and what we can push for later and for a good timely delivery. So let's put that into a doc first then, right?
Yeah, and I think I'd like to approach it that whatever changes we need to make to the existing UBsports website and application to accommodate this should be written up separately as if it's going to be a change. Because I recognize that, like, doing the admin dashboard for the trainer verification, like, that's all kind of new. Like, we never really talked about that. So what we don't want to do is push out the delivery because of the change of scope to include those. So let's document this as, you know, whether you call it a second phase or a change request. I mean, the terminology is doesn't really matter to me. But let's write it up as a change, the existing plan. As you do that, you may find that certain elements of it would be beneficial or more cost effective to include now in the first phase.
Exactly.
And in those cases, we can discuss those things once we see what the whole change document looks like. You can come back and say, well, here's the change for the trainer stuff, but these 1, 2, 3 things we should do now because it's more cost effective. It's better to make the database change now so they're ready, and we can, and then there would be a minor scope change to the current initial release. So that should be our approach to how we do this, I think.
Exactly. That would be a better plan. Yeah. And I guess there should be an estimation taken up as well, because this can push things apart, and they can make some changes easier. They can make some changes easier as well. So there would be a difference in the estimation. So I need to have a check with the technical team regarding the estimates then. Maybe for the time frame. So can I come back after, you know, having a check with them? So as we have made a change in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we expected.
Is that fine for you guys?
It's good with me.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is that fine? Is that fine if I, you know, come back with a re-estimate?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Exactly. That's fine.
Yes.
Krishnapriya, one question for you. When we get down to the payment module for the
subscription
athletic trainers, right? For the one for the subscriptions for the athletic trainers and the fitness trainers, but also for their clients. Not so much for the athletic trainer, because usually the payments to the athletic trainer come through the school or the medical program. But for the fitness trainer, you're going to have a lot of participants for a yoga studio, for example. And that we need to make sure that we are charging properly. It's going to be either payment by subscription per month, or it's going to
Uh-huh.
be per class that they take. So they have to sign up for the Wednesday 9 o'clock class, yoga class, and either the trainer is going to want to charge for that particular class, or they're going to charge a weekly or monthly fee for the subscription for them. So we have to make sure that we're doing that. What now? One of your teams said that you use Stripe for that. Do we have
Yeah,
to get a
that's
subscription
right.
for that? How do we go about doing that? Setting up Stripe?
Yeah, Stripe is a better option because it's a payment gateway that is supported all across many countries. Apart from Stripe, there are more options too, like PayPal and all. Uh, but what the technical team preferred at that time was Stripe. If you have any suggestion, I can have it accommodated, or do you want to look for something else? So is that what you mean?
Yes, that's what I mean. But the right now
Uh-huh.
we're using Shopify for our e-commerce page,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
we also need to have a conversation about whether or not
Uh-huh.
you have an alternative for the e-commerce that would be better than a Shopify page or
Oh,
Shopify site.
okay.
I think, Greg, unfortunately, that if you require a subscription to the applications, I I'm almost positive that you have to do those subscriptions through the app stores. I don't know that you can like put up a product on Shopify and say buy your subscription to the athletic trainer app and then integrate that into the app. I think the app is dependent. That's part of, that on the
Oh,
iOS platform. That's part of the Apple APIs that you would use. And I'm less familiar with the Android side of it, but with the Google Play Store or whatever, there's something with subscriptions.
that's true. Yeah, of course.
The Android apps may be a little less restrictive than Apple, but in any case, my point is I'm not sure
Yes.
that you can have an external payment method for something for a subscription that is required to those apps.
Right. If they're downloading through the store, they're going to want a payment there. Yeah. Right.
For the most part, yeah, the users will want to do it that way. But I think that there are technical limitations as well as legal limitations on what you're allowed.
That's right.
Good point, Summer. Good. Okay.
And I do know that, in the iOS ecosystem, you could set up subscriptions where you can have a free 1 month trial, and you could use that as a marketing thing. Try the trainer app for 1 month free.
Okay.
So they can subscribe, but they don't get charged until 30 days later or something like that.
Right.
So those platforms are flexible in the type of subscription offerings they allow you to use. So that's something we can kind of look at down the road. And Greg, you and I would have to regroup with the rest of the marketing team to figure out exactly how you're going to market the trainer apps.
Right.
Do you want to give a free trial period? That you could do a 7-day trial, a 1 month trial, whatever you want to do.
Okay. So we'll worry about that when we get there. That's a bridge we can cross later. But I think Stripe we can use, or we're going to have to use for the UBsports site, or the UBsports app. Also, I don't know. We'll talk to we'll figure that out from Apple, because the UBsports app will be loaded without any fee, but there's in-app purchases that actually are going to be subscriptions that are charged by the trainers, the fitness trainer. So that's where it's going to be. We have to figure out the process that we do that. Either it's through our Stripe, or if it has to go through the Apple Store or the Google Store.
Yeah, and I think you have to be prepared. Like, if a fitness trainer is, charging their clients $50 for a training session, you know, they may not necessarily want to be collecting that through the app, because then they're going to have to raise their price to cover Apple's 3% cut or whatever it is. So I think that you will have some resistance. I don't know if it'll be a little bit or a lot, but you will have some resistance to the trainers collecting their fees through the app.
Right.
You know, they're just gonna tell their clients, well, send me Venmo, and they cut out Apple
Yeah.
completely. So, you know, that we have to kind of look at how we define those in-app purchases at some point.
Those are great business points. All right.
Yes. So if you could look at that and come up with a plan, and we can we can have it, you know, included up in the upcoming, you know, as a, you know, marketing plan. We can have it included in the website or application.
Yeah. Krishna, I'm not sure how long it's going to take you to kind of discuss with your team and figure out what has to be modified, but if we can have it done by Wednesday, you know, that's our weekly meeting. That might be an effective time to regroup on all of these things.
Sure, sure. I could see that there is a re-estimate that is required at the earliest, and a document which identifies, maybe both as one, a document which identifies the new changes and the new changes. So we'll have it up. We'll have it discussed with the team, and let's see. We can. I hope we can come up with that before Wednesday, as you guys need it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that will work.
Yeah, that's going to include some additions to the UBsports app too, because that obviously
That's
we're
right.
pushing off the client side to the UBsports app. We have to do that.
Yes.
All right. John, do you have any connections with the Apple Store, or should I just try to reach out to them and try to start getting answers on this?
Yeah, I don't have any specific contacts or.
Okay, I'll work on that today. Okay, so what else do we have, John? Anything else on our side?
Nothing
No,
apart.
and
Nothing
I
from my
have-
side.
Yeah, I don't have anything else at this point either.
KP, anything
So
on your
let's
side?
look towards the next step. Pardon me?
What do you think? Do you have anything you have to add, or your thoughts?
Not at the moment. So let me have a discussion with the team, and let's come up with the estimate, and let's discuss over it. I guess that would be the most productive way we can approach it.
Yes.
By now.
So
Yeah.
I would like to add some points. You know, as we discussed, we do find some changes, and as you can see, the team is already working on the milestones. The changes will be considered, like it will be added on to the next milestone in the same phase itself. So there can be a bit difference in the timeline. I don't know. I'm not pretty much sure about it. I have to discuss it with the team. But I think there will be a bit difference in the timeline, as the change request is there, and we need to add it into the milestone. So maybe on Wednesday we can get a clear picture of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be ideal. You know, the ideal or perfect situation would be to minimize the number of changes that are required in the current release. The only thing that we would want to put into the current release are those things that really have a significant savings over doing them later. So, you know, if you guys can kind of focus on the changes that way, that will help minimize the extension of the deliverable date, the addition of extra costs on the current price, et cetera. So if that can kind of be the focus, because we're not looking for any of the trainer stuff to be done in the first release, unless it provides value to the development effort of the next phase.
Mhm. Got it.
Okay, got it. And KP, do you have anything?
Yeah. So the first thing that we can do is to, prepare a list of things that comes as an addition into the UBsports web application, web and application. And later, there may be certain changes that should be taken out of UBsports dedicated trainer applications. We should make a list, and you can choose, Greg, John, you can choose from it which all are the changes that is crucial, that you find crucial, that you should include in the space, and which you think you can push back. And once these are identified, we can take it as a next step to estimate those changes that we have selected.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, so one more point from my end is about the recruitment app. Guys, do you have any, information regarding the recruitment app, how we are actually planning to move ahead with that?
I don't. Greg might. I don't have anything to.
Could you ask the question again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Okay, so I was asking about the recruitment app. Are we guys having an idea like how we are actually planning to? Is it the mobile application, or because we are waiting for the decision from your end,
I
so
think
that
that
we
is
can also start working on this.
that is going to be a separate app versus
Uh-huh.
an addition, but it's actually going to live on both places. It's going to live in the web. We're just going through the personal requirements and all the specs that we need for that past couple days. And we're going to have a meeting ourselves tomorrow, 11 o'clock, to go through the different personal profile pages. And at what point does the information that we're collecting go from being just a personal profile to the recruitment pages? But right now it looks like it's living mostly on the web, but there's going to definitely be a recruiting app that's necessary, as opposed to.
Yeah, I can jump in there. I can jump in there for a minute. The high level architecture for the recruiting app will include changes to member profiles to include all of the additional data that we would want to incorporate for recruiting. One of the primary functions that a recruiter will do will be to search the database of members based on the demographics and all the profile data that the members input. That search functionality will really exist only on the website. It won't truly be part of the mobile app. There might be a scaled down version or a minimized version of search in the mobile recruiting app. But if I'm recruiting and searching and I get results with 1,000 potential athletes or members, the last thing I want is 1,000 names popping up on my phone that I can't do a whole lot with. Okay. So the search functionality will be extensively and primarily based on the website. The mobile app for the recruiter is going to be much more of a tool that a recruiter will use when they're out in the field. So I'm at a particular school watching a basketball game. I'm I see an athlete in the game that I'm recruiting or that has caught my attention. So I'm going to want to pull up their record and put notes in that I can review later. So it's much more of a field tool for the recruiters. That's a very basic idea of how we expect the recruiter to use our systems. There's additional functionality, some additional features, things that we can discuss later, but that's the overall idea of how the recruiter will use the website and the mobile app.
I see the recruiter using the mobile app when they're at a game, as you said, John, and actually taking photos and videos of the recruit. That could be pretty handy. And if that gets automatically loaded into the file for that recruit, that would be really handy. That would be really cool.
Right. So in addition to notes, there could be some media, things like that.
Okay.
I have only a few more minutes, Greg. I have a hard stop.
No problem. I think we're done too.
So I gotta get out of here.
That's fine. I think that's all from my end. I guess maybe by the start of or by the mid of next week, we can get an idea of like how to go with the recruitment app, right?
Definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that may move a little. You know, just so your expectations are kind of set. That might move a little bit slower because, you know, we're getting to the point with the website and the regular app where we're going to have to focus on testing, looking at making sure the functionality's in there. We've got the trainer apps that we're going to have to start to look at the spec and the designs for. And I'm just a little bit concerned that we're going to be too overwhelmed to really address the recruiter app. So we may be able to do it, but I just want to make sure that you guys, you know, don't pull resources in just for the recruiter app and then we don't address them.
That's nice of you, John. Yes, that's all said. So that's all from my end. KP, do you have anything that is left or?
Now that we have talked about the recruiter app, if you find any connections in between, when we if you want to connect these applications, in that case it's better if you have a look at it from a whole perspective and have it analyzed. If there is any connection that comes up with the recruiter app, if it has any connection with the previous apps that we have. If there is, it's better to identify at this stage rather than going on to the development of all these three apps and then identifying it later. So if there is any connection, only if there is any connection.
Yeah, I think it's relatively minimal, but Greg and I can kind of talk through that and really get a better handle on what pieces have to be coordinated.
Yeah, I think, John, you're right. I think there's not going to be much connection between the FT and AT apps and the recruitment app. They're totally separate functionalities.
No, it's the recruiter app and the website. And we just need a better idea of what functionality belongs where, kind of thing, and aside from that, there is some data, but most of the data that the recruiter will collect is not going to be accessible to the members. Mm-hmm. Like if a recruiter makes notes about me, I can't go in my profile and see those recruiters' notes. So there really isn't a whole lot of overlap even with the regular site. The real challenge that we have is in determining, here's our big feature list, which features go in this website, which go into the recruiter app, and which go into both. So, we know that that's the next step. Just not sure how quickly we're going to be able to get to that.
I think on our side also we have to think about the regulations with what HIPAA and COPA, and what can actually be published as personal information available to the public. I think there has to be some disclosures, or rather disclaimers, in the terms and conditions, and we have to make sure that we're not giving out private information to the public and all that kind of stuff. There was a email that was circulated among ourselves yesterday with a really intense recruitment questionnaire, and really 80% of the stuff that's there can't be just publicly published. So we have to really work on those privacy concerns. So I'm going to try to mark that up, and I think John will send it. Well, we're going to have a conversation tomorrow at 11 o'clock about that stuff. So at that time, we'll go through it and say what's private and what's not, and how we should handle it. So yeah, I think that's it. I think you're right, John. I think we're done for today.
Okay, I got to run. Jibin, it was good to see you. Javed, good to see you again. And Krishna, good
Thanks
to
a lot,
see you.
John. Yeah, it was great talking to you. And one more thing, one quick addition. So from the next Wednesday meeting onwards, we'll have Krishnapriya also on the call as a BA to avoid confusions, or if there are any documentation to be done, or if there are any changes, or to just keep checking that we are on track and everything is in the scope. We'll have Krishnapriya also on the call from the next Wednesday. So that is planned from now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I would expect that next Wednesday, you guys will be ready for us to sign off on whatever changes and the two trainer app SRSs. I imagine that we will want a day or two to review those so that we can either agree that they're final or pose any questions.
Correct.
That should be what takes place next Wednesday.
Okay.
Correct. Expectation set.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you all.
So thank you for being with us, John and Greg.
And I'll put up the video as soon as it takes about an hour to load it. So let me do that, and you'll see it up on the UBsports channel on YouTube.
Okay.
Waiting for that.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks a lot. So have a great day, guys. Take care and be safe during the winters.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.